In the vast, unforgiving expanse of the Libyan desert, a tale of mystery and tragedy unfolds, one that has haunted historians and aviation enthusiasts for decades. Picture this: a military aircraft, the Lady Be Good, soaring through the skies in 1943 on a routine mission during World War II. Suddenly, it vanishes without a trace. What happened to the crew? How could an entire plane simply disappear? For nearly 20 years, the world was left in the dark, grappling with unanswered questions and wild theories. But in 1958, a chance discovery in the desolate sands would ignite a quest for the truth. What secrets lay buried beneath the scorching sun? As investigators uncovered the wreckage, a shocking revelation emerged. This was no mere accident. The crew had survived the initial impact, only to face a harrowing struggle for survival in one of the harshest environments on Earth. Imagine the desperation, the hope, the sheer will to live. What choices did they make? What fate awaited them? Join me as we unravel this gripping story of resilience against all odds, a mystery that continues to resonate even today. Historical context. As I reflect on the historical backdrop of World War II, it's impossible to ignore the pivotal role that military aviation played during this tumultuous period. The skies became a battleground, where aerial dominance was seen as crucial for success on the ground. Nations quickly recognized that control of the air could turn the tide of battles, and even entire wars. Reconnaissance missions, in particular, were essential, providing valuable intelligence about enemy movements and positions. These missions not only involved high-stakes flying, but also required a blend of bravery and strategic thinking. In the context of the North African campaign, the harsh desert terrain added another layer of complexity. Pilots faced not only the enemy, but also the challenges of navigating vast, featureless landscapes under relentless sun and extreme temperatures. The importance of reconnaissance flights was underscored by the need to gather information on troop deployments and supply lines, often at great personal risk. It was during this time that the Lady Be Good, a B-24 Liberator, would enter the scene, illustrating the intersection of aviation technology and wartime necessity. The Lady Be Good was more than just a machine. It was a state-of-the-art aircraft designed to serve in one of the most dangerous theaters of war. With its long-range capabilities and heavy bomb load, it stood as a testament to the advancements in aviation technology. But it was the men aboard her, brave, skilled, and dedicated, that truly brought the aircraft to life. Each mission they undertook was steeped in the knowledge that their efforts could change the course of the war. As the war raged on, the pressure mounted on crews like that of the Lady Be Good. The stakes were high, and the need for precise execution became a matter of life and death. It's hard to imagine the mental and emotional toll of flying missions over enemy territory, knowing that one misstep could lead to disaster. The camaraderie among crew members was vital, as they relied on each other not only for their survival, but also for the mission's success. It's fascinating to think about how the war shaped aviation and the nature of military operations. The lessons learned from reconnaissance missions, successes and failures alike, would influence future conflicts and the evolution of air power. The Lady Be Good story is a powerful reminder of this connection, highlighting how individual aircraft and their crews were integral to the larger narrative of World War II. The Lady Be Good was a remarkable aircraft, a B-24 Liberator, which had been engineered for long-range bombing missions. It was a robust, four-engine heavy bomber that could carry a significant payload, making it a crucial asset for the U.S. Army Air Forces. This airplane was not merely a tool. It represented the pinnacle of American aviation technology during the war. With its sleek design and formidable armaments, the Lady Be Good was built to withstand the rigors of combat while delivering devastating strikes against enemy targets. The aircraft was assigned to the 376th Bombardment Group, tasked with strategic bombing missions over North Africa. The crew aboard the Lady Be Good consisted of 10 men, each with specialized skills that contributed to the collective effort. They were not just aviators. They were a unit bound by a shared purpose and a commitment to their country. Each member brought unique expertise, from the pilot to the bombardier, and their fates were inextricably linked once they took to the skies. On that fateful mission, the crew was tasked with a reconnaissance flight over Libya. This was a critical operation, as gathering intelligence was essential for planning subsequent attacks. With the war's stakes so high, the pressure to perform was immense. As they soared above the arid landscape, the crew was focused on their objectives, unaware of the impending challenges that awaited them. The mission was supposed to be straightforward, but the unpredictability of war often intervenes in the most unexpected ways. The Lady Be Good was equipped with advanced navigation tools for its time, yet the vastness of the North African desert posed significant challenges. The crew relied on their training and instincts, but the elements and the chaos of war can easily disrupt even the best-laid plans. As they flew over the desolate terrain, the realization that they could easily lose their way began to dawn on them. Little did they know that this would be the last mission for the Lady Be Good and its brave crew. The disappearance of the Lady Be Good remains shrouded in mystery, and its story serves as a haunting reminder of the uncertainties of military aviation during wartime. The aircraft, which was meant to be a protector and a weapon, became a ghostly presence in the vast desert, leaving behind questions that would linger for decades to come. The fateful mission, the mission that led to the disappearance of the Lady Be Good, was steeped in the urgency of wartime operations. On April 4, 1943, the crew took off from their base, fueled by a sense of duty and a determination to fulfill their objectives. However, as they ventured deeper into enemy territory, the challenges began to mount. Navigation was notoriously difficult in the North African desert, and despite their training, the crew struggled to maintain a clear course. Several factors contributed to the Lady Be Good losing its direction during the mission. Mechanical failures, unpredictable weather, and the vast, featureless landscape all played a role in disorienting the pilots. As they continued their reconnaissance flight, the crew's situation became increasingly precarious. The aircraft, which had been their sanctuary and their weapon, began to feel like a trap, with the desert stretching endlessly below them. As the hours passed, it became evident that they were not where they were supposed to be. The crew's attempts to regain their bearings were met with frustration, as their navigation equipment failed to provide the necessary guidance. The tension inside the cockpit must have been palpable, filled with a mix of anxiety and determination. They were trained to adapt and overcome, but the harsh realities of war often render even the best plans futile. In a moment of desperation, the decision was made to turn back, but it was too late. The aircraft had already drifted far from familiar territory. The crew was faced with a grim reality. They were lost in a hostile environment, far from the safety of their base. The struggle for survival was only just beginning, as they realized that their predicament was not just a matter of navigation, but also one of life and death. The circumstances surrounding the Lady Be Good's disappearance raise questions that remain unanswered to this day. What went wrong during that flight? How did a well-equipped aircraft and its skilled crew vanish into the vastness of the desert? These inquiries linger, sparking intrigue and speculation among historians and aviation enthusiasts alike. The disappearance, when the Lady Be Good failed to return from its mission. The initial reaction from the military was one of confusion and concern. The disappearance of an aircraft, especially one on a vital reconnaissance mission, was a serious matter. Search and rescue operations were promptly initiated, as the armed forces sought to locate the missing plane and its crew. The urgency of the situation was amplified by the knowledge that lives were at stake, and every moment counted. The search efforts began in earnest, with other aircraft deployed to scour the skies and ground teams mobilized to comb the desert terrain. The harsh conditions of the Libyan landscape posed significant challenges for search operations. With its vast stretches of sand and sparse vegetation, the desert was unforgiving, making it all the more difficult to locate the lost aircraft. The military's resources were stretched, but they were determined to find the Lady Be Good and bring its crew home. As days turned into weeks, hope began to wane. The families of the crew members were left in a state of uncertainty, grappling with the anguish of not knowing what had happened to their loved ones. The community rallied around them, offering support and sharing in their collective grief. The reality of loss weighed heavily, as the possibility of survival grew dimmer with each passing day. The military's response to the disappearance also sparked discussions about the risks associated with aerial missions. The loss of the Lady Be Good served as a sobering reminder of the dangers that pilots faced, not just from enemy fire, but also from the elements and the unpredictable nature of flight. As time went on, the story of the Lady Be Good became a cautionary tale, a testament to the sacrifices made by those who served in the skies during the war. Despite the exhaustive search efforts, the Lady Be Good remained elusive. The mystery of its disappearance deepened, creating a narrative that would captivate historians and aviation enthusiasts for years to come. The aircraft and its crew became part of a larger story about the trials of war, the bravery of those who served, and the enduring quest for answers in the face of uncertainty. Discovery of the wreckage. It was in 1958 that the world finally caught a glimpse of the lost Lady Be Good. The discovery of the wreckage was nothing short of a dramatic turn of events in a story that had lingered in the shadows for over a decade. It all began when a group of Libyan explorers stumbled upon the remains of the B-24 Liberator bomber in the vast, unforgiving terrain of the Libyan desert. Imagine walking through endless sand dunes and suddenly coming across the skeletal remains of an aircraft, long forgotten by time. The sight must have been surreal, an eerie reminder of the past that had been buried beneath the sands of time. The wreckage was found in a remote area, far from the intended flight path. This location raised questions about the events that led to the plane's disappearance. A subsequent investigation revealed that the aircraft had crash-landed in a region characterized by its isolation and the harshness of its environment. The condition of the aircraft was striking. Despite the years that had passed, much of it remained intact. This prompted experts to delve deeper into understanding what had happened to the crew and how they had met their fate. As the world learned of the wreckage's discovery, curiosity grew about the fate of the crew. What had transpired on that fateful night in 1943? The findings spurred renewed interest in the Lady Be Good and its crew, leading to a series of investigations. Researchers sought to piece together the final moments of the aircraft, examining the wreckage for clues that could illuminate the mystery surrounding its disappearance. The excitement of discovery was palpable, yet it was tinged with a somber reminder of the lives lost in the desert. The wreckage itself revealed more than just metal and machinery. It told a story of struggle and resilience. Among the debris, personal belongings were found, which provided a glimpse into the lives of the men who once called the Lady Be Good home. Letters, photographs, and equipment painted a picture of camaraderie and brotherhood that existed among the crew. Each item unearthed offered a new piece of the puzzle, allowing historians and aviation enthusiasts to connect with the past on a more personal level. Ultimately, the discovery of the wreckage in 1958 not only reignited interest in a long-forgotten tale, but also served as a reminder of the sacrifices made during the war. The Lady Be Good became a symbol of the countless aircraft and crews that were lost in the chaos of conflict. It was a testament to the bravery of those who served and the mysteries that still linger in the sands of history. Survival of the crew. As investigators examined the wreckage, evidence began to surface suggesting that the crew of the Lady Be Good had survived the initial crash. This revelation turned the entire narrative of the disappearance on its head. It was hard to fathom that after enduring the harrowing experience of a crash landing in the vast desert, these men had managed to cling to life for a time. Reports indicated that some personal items were found scattered around the crash site, hinting that the crew had attempted to escape and survive in the unforgiving environment. The notion of survival in such dire circumstances led to questions about their ordeal. What challenges did they face after the crash? The extreme conditions of the Libyan desert posed significant threats to their survival. With scorching daytime temperatures and freezing nights, the crew would have had to contend with both dehydration and exposure. The harsh climate was a formidable adversary, and it's haunting to think about how they battled against nature while grappling with the psychological strain of their predicament. Investigators uncovered evidence that suggested the crew had made efforts to find their way back to safety. Maps and compasses were found, indicating they had attempted to navigate their way out of the desert. Yet, despite their bravery and determination, the vastness of the terrain was an enemy unlike any other. With limited resources and no clear direction, their chances of survival rapidly diminished. The reality of their situation must have been a bitter pill to swallow, as hope waned with each passing day. The stories of survival became legends among historians and aviation enthusiasts alike. The idea that these men had fought against all odds to stay alive added a layer of heroism to their tale. The crew of the Lady Be Good, despite their tragic end, became emblematic of the human spirit's resilience in the face of overwhelming adversity. Each piece of evidence found at the crash site painted a compelling picture of their struggle, prompting a deeper exploration into the lives of these brave men who had been lost but not forgotten. Ultimately, the survival of the crew became a focal point in understanding the legacy of the Lady Be Good. Their story serves as a poignant reminder of the harsh realities of war and the indomitable will to survive, even in the most dire of circumstances. The question of what happened to them after the crash remains a haunting mystery, echoing through the annals of history, forever intertwined with the fate of the aircraft itself. Extreme conditions of the desert. The Libyan desert is a place of extremes, and the conditions faced by the crew of the Lady Be Good were nothing short of brutal. Picture this: endless stretches of sand, broken only by the occasional rocky outcrop, with temperatures soaring during the day and plummeting at night. The environment itself is a harsh adversary, one that tests not just the body, but the very limits of human endurance. For the crew, the desert was an unforgiving landscape, a stark contrast to the camaraderie and purpose they had experienced as part of a military mission. During the day, the sun beats down mercilessly, creating an oppressive heat that can lead to dehydration in a matter of hours. The crew, likely already fatigued and disoriented from the crash, faced an immediate challenge in finding water. The scarcity of resources is a defining characteristic of the desert, where one must often travel great distances to locate even the most basic necessities. The struggle for survival becomes a race against time, with each hour that passes further diminishing their chances of making it out alive. As night falls, the temperature drops dramatically, leading to an entirely different set of challenges. The cold can be equally punishing, stripping away any warmth that had been gained during the day. For men who were already weakened, the sudden chill would have felt like an additional blow. Sleep would have been nearly impossible, as they contended not only with the cold, but also with the mental strain of their situation. The psychological toll of their environment cannot be overstated. The vastness of the desert can instill a sense of isolation and despair that is difficult to overcome. Navigating the terrain of the Libyan desert posed another significant challenge. The landscape can be disorienting, with sand dunes creating an illusion of endlessness. Without proper navigation tools, the crew would have found themselves wandering aimlessly, losing precious time and energy in the process. Each misstep could mean further separation from any potential rescue or source of help. The harsh reality is that the desert is a place where even the slightest mistake can have dire consequences. In essence, the extreme conditions of the Libyan desert were not just a backdrop to the story of the Lady Be Good. They were a central character in the narrative of survival. The landscape itself became a formidable foe, shaping the fate of those who dared to traverse it. The crew's struggle against such overwhelming odds adds depth to their story, highlighting both the fragility and resilience of the human spirit in the face of nature's unforgiving challenges. Investigation and discoveries. As I delve into the investigation of the Lady Be Good and its tragic fate, I'm struck by the sheer dedication of the researchers and archaeologists who took on the task of uncovering the story behind its disappearance. After the wreckage was discovered in 1958, a wave of curiosity surged through the military and aviation communities. These experts sifted through the remains of the aircraft, piecing together fragments of history that had lain hidden in the Libyan desert for nearly 2 decades. It wasn't just about finding an old plane. It was about understanding what had happened to the brave souls aboard. The investigation revealed a meticulous process. The researchers mapped the crash site, noting the position of the wreckage and the distribution of debris across the arid landscape. Each piece of metal and fabric told a story. Each dent and scratch on the aircraft's surface was a clue. They examined personal effects found near the wreckage, hoping to glean insights into the final moments of the crew's lives. The painstaking analysis of these artifacts painted a picture of survival and desperation, offering a glimpse into the harrowing decisions faced by the crew after their plane went down. Moreover, the investigations extended beyond the physical remains. Researchers sought out records, pilot logs, and testimonies from military personnel who had been involved in the search efforts. They pieced together the timeline of events leading up to the disappearance and the subsequent search operations. This comprehensive approach was crucial in understanding not just the technical failures that led to the crash, but also the human element involved, the courage and resilience of the men who fought to survive against all odds. As the investigators sifted through the evidence, they also encountered a series of mysteries. Why had the crew failed to navigate accurately? What had happened during their descent? The answers were elusive, but the process of seeking them added depth to the narrative. It became more than just a story of a lost aircraft. It transformed into a tale of human endurance and the relentless pursuit of truth in the face of uncertainty. This investigation, much like a detective novel, unfolded layer by layer, revealing the complexities of war, technology, and the human spirit. In the end, the work of these investigators not only illuminated the fate of the Lady Be Good, but also served as a poignant reminder of the sacrifices made by those who served. Their findings contributed to the broader understanding of aviation safety and military operations, ensuring that the lessons learned from this tragedy would not be forgotten. The story of the Lady Be Good became a testament to the resilience of those who dared to fly, as well as a cautionary tale for future generations of aviators. Psychological and emotional impact. As I reflect on the psychological and emotional impact of the Lady Be Good's disappearance, it's impossible to overlook the profound effects on the families of the crew. The uncertainty surrounding their loved one's fate must have created an unbearable weight on their hearts. Imagine receiving the news that your husband, brother, or son had vanished into the vastness of the desert, with no clear answers as to what happened to him. The emotional turmoil of hope and despair would have been a constant battle for these families, forever altered by the events of that fateful mission. The psychological toll on the crew, if they had survived the initial crash, is equally haunting. They were thrust into a fight for survival in an unforgiving environment, and the mental strain of such an ordeal can hardly be overstated. Being isolated in the desolate Libyan desert, faced with the harsh realities of extreme temperatures and limited resources, would have tested not only their physical endurance, but also their mental fortitude. The fear of the unknown, the desperation for rescue, and the lingering question of whether they would see their families again would have loomed large in their minds. For the families left behind, the years that followed the disappearance were likely filled with a mix of hope and grief. As search efforts continued and evidence slowly emerged, the hope of reunion clashed with the stark reality of loss. Many families may have clung to the possibility that their loved ones were still alive, while others faced the crushing weight of acceptance that they might never return. The emotional scars from such a loss often run deep, shaping relationships and experiences for years to come. The legacy of the Lady Be Good extends beyond the immediate impact on the families of the crew. It also resonates within the broader military community. The emotional fallout from such tragedies can lead to systemic changes in how missions are planned and executed, as well as how support is provided to families of service members. The haunting memories of those who were lost serve as a reminder of the sacrifices made by those in uniform, reinforcing the importance of mental health resources and support systems for both soldiers and their loved ones. Ultimately, the story of the Lady Be Good is not just about an aircraft or a military mission. It encompasses the very human experience of loss, resilience, and the enduring hope that lingers in the aftermath of tragedy. It challenges us to confront the emotional complexities of war and survival, reminding us of the fragility of life and the strength of the human spirit in the face of adversity. Legacy of the Lady Be Good. The legacy of the Lady Be Good reaches far beyond its tragic story. It has become an emblematic case in the annals of aviation history, teaching us invaluable lessons about the complexities of flight, navigation, and the consequences of technological reliance in military operations. The tale of this lost bomber highlights the intersections of human error, environmental challenges, and the unpredictable nature of wartime missions. As I think about its impact, I see how it has shaped discussions around aviation safety protocols and search and rescue operations. In the years following the discovery of the wreckage, the Lady Be Good has inspired numerous documentaries, books, and articles that seek to illuminate the mysteries surrounding its fate. Each retelling of the story adds layers to the narrative, engaging new audiences with the gripping details of survival and the psychological ramifications of war. This ongoing interest not only honors the memory of the crew, but also serves to educate future generations about the sacrifices made by those who serve in the military. Moreover, the Lady Be Good has permeated popular culture in various forms. References to the aircraft and its story can be found in films, television series, and even video games. These portrayals often evoke themes of bravery, loss, and the human spirit's indomitable nature, resonating with audiences who may not have a direct connection to the military. Through these cultural expressions, the legacy of the Lady Be Good continues to inspire and provoke thought about the broader implications of war and survival. The investigations into the Lady Be Good have also had a lasting impact on academic research, particularly in fields such as archaeology and forensics. The methodologies developed during the exploration of the wreckage have informed best practices for future investigations of similar incidents, blending historical analysis with modern technological advancements. In many ways, the story of the Lady Be Good serves as a case study for how we can learn from the past to improve our understanding of aviation and military history. In conclusion, the legacy of the Lady Be Good encapsulates a convergence of history, culture, and the human experience. It stands as a testament to the resilience of those who served, the families who waited, and the investigators who sought the truth. Through its enduring narrative, we are reminded of the fragility of life in the face of conflict and the lessons we must carry forward to honor those who have come before us. As we reflect on the haunting tale of the Lady Be Good, it's hard not to feel a chill run down your spine. Imagine an aircraft lost in the vastness of the Libyan desert, its crew fighting against the odds, only to be swallowed by the unforgiving sands. What drove them to press on, even when hope seemed lost? The story doesn't just end with the discovery of the wreckage in 1958. It opens a Pandora's box of questions. What really happened in those barren dunes? Did they have any idea of the fate that awaited them? And what secrets could the desert still be holding? As we piece together this tragic puzzle, I invite you to ponder, what would you have done in their shoes? Would you have pressed on, fueled by sheer will, or succumbed to despair? This is just one of the many mysteries that history has left behind, waiting for us to uncover. So, what do you think? Are there more stories like this out there, hidden in plain sight? Join me next time as we dive deeper into another unsolved mystery that still haunts the pages of history. Stay curious and keep questioning the unexplained.